Franz Joseph of Austria ordered his troops to crush the rebellion.
Death. Josef Shandor, insurrection. Raising barricades. Death.
Bavarian princess Helena of Wittelsbach, and a great ball was held to celebrate their betrothal. The destiny of the Habsburg dynasty was to be decided that night. Franz Joseph was unable to resist the gentle charms of Helena's younger sister, Elizabeth. They danced the evening away, and his infatuation deepened with every waltz.
There is nothing to be discussed. We will ignore what happened this evening, and I forbid you to mention the subject again.
I'm afraid that's not possible.
Not possible? Of course it's possible. You'll do as I say, Franz. You will forget this evening's disaster and stop behaving like a lovesick stable boy.
I didn't realize you knew any.
Of course, the girl is attractive. I can see that. Oh, Francie, if you want to go to bed with her, then do so. But you'll marry Helena.
Well, I couldn't say no, could I?
You need her strength.
How do you know what I need?
I am talking about the needs of your country, the needs of Europe. Country's future depends on the Emperor's marriage.
Sissy will learn.
Oh, Sissy.
You don't even know her.
A romantic daydreaming child, poetry spouting like her father, weak and unstable.
That's nonsense, Mother.
Besides, she's your cousin.
So's Helena.
The papal dispensation was specific. You are to marry Helena.
What if I refuse?
Well, not permitted. Haven't I always given you good advice? Haven't you always relied on my judgment?
Well, perhaps I was mistaken.
The strength you have, you get from me. It was I who made your father renounce his claim to the throne. It was I, and I alone, who made you emperor.
Well, then why give me power if I'm not allowed to exercise it?
I gave you power to fight.
Well, haven't I done that?
Well, you frightened a few Hungarian peasants, not a notable victory.
Why are you so afraid? There's no real reason why you should prevent me from marrying Sissy unless you're afraid of her.
Yes, I am.
But why?
I'm afraid of her weakness. I'm afraid of her immaturity.
Well, just because she's young?
Oh, it's too dangerous. It's too much of a risk. You may think the Hungarian troubles are over, but I don't believe it. The whole of Europe is blackened by revolution. If we're not constantly alert, we'll find ourselves destroyed by these rebels.
Oh, Mother.
The taste of power is on their lips. They're not going to stop now. You will have to be stronger, more alert. You'll need someone like Helena beside you. She's a woman. She has strength of character. She's a woman, not a child. She's like me. Believe me, Francie, I'm speaking the truth. You need to marry Helena.
I expect you to speak to Aunt Ludovica tomorrow morning. Tell her I wish to marry Elizabeth. The marriage shall be next spring. April, perhaps.
And leave me alone!
Sissy, my mother's expecting you. Please get dressed and come to breakfast.
Franz, I can't.
Why?
I don't feel well.
You must. I shall tell Mother that you will be ready in half an hour.
She's not.
What?
Oh, never mind. The child can't be curbed.
He really cares for his work, his women, And the army. That's his life.
Hello.
Franz!
Hello, Gisela. Hello, what's the matter?
Come on.
How do you?
Why didn't you tell us you were coming? We could have had tea together.
Well, I thought you'd like to know.
Here are my darling.
It's been decided that we shall visit Hungary.
When?
Soon, sometime in early May.
That's wonderful. I thought they were against it.
Who?
The ministers, I thought they wanted to keep you away from Hungary.
Yeah, well, they changed their minds.
Oh.
And the idea is that we should make the Hungarians realize that they are part of the Austrian Empire. Encourage feelings of patriotism and so on. Now, Baron Bach hopes you'll be able to charm them as you charmed the Italians. If you can't, nobody can.
Does your mother approve?
Well, not entirely. She doesn't disapprove.
Franz, will there be some conciliation
What?
with the Hungarians?
Why should there be? Hungary is nothing more than a province. They must learn to accept that.
Well, then why are we going?
Oh, policy.
What policy?
To ease the situation.
What situation?
Look, I've been discussing it all day. Do we have to discuss it now?
Well, I want to know.
Well, there's still plenty of troublemakers in Hungary. We can't afford to ignore them. So the children had better stay here.
With your mother?
Yes.
Why?
Well, why not? We'll be travelling right across the country.
Well, they can stay in Budapest.
Why can't they stay here?
Because I want them to come with us.
There's no point in antagonizing my mother.
She spends most of her time antagonizing me.
They haven't been well. They shouldn't travel.
Then I shall stay here with them.
All right. We'll take them with us if you insist.
Where are you going?
I have an appointment.
Franz?
What?
Please don't go. I feel so alone.
I thought you preferred that.
To what?
To my company.
I never said so.
You implied it often enough.
When?
Look, I'm too tired to argue.
But not too tired for your women! Why did you marry me, Franz? To get a son, was that it? Was that the only reason? Poor Franz, you should have obeyed your mother. You should have married Helena. Perhaps you're tired of me. Perhaps you'd like me to go away. Perhaps you'd rather be by yourself, with your mother. Or with somebody else.
You know that isn't true.
Do I?
Of course.
I know nothing, nothing at all.
I've told you often enough.
Told me what?
Look, I must go.
Told me what? You shut yourself away from me like you shut yourself away from the world. You sit at your desk day after day after day. If only you tried to understand me a little. And not just me. People. What they fear and want and feel.
All right, Sissy. What do you feel?
Afraid.
Of what?
I don't know.
Afraid of what?
I don't know. Many things. I can't explain.
Oh, Sissy.
I was standing by a window this morning. One of the gardeners looked up and saw me. He was young, handsome, I suppose. He didn't move. He didn't turn away. I wondered what he was thinking. Perhaps he hates us.
Why should he?
Why shouldn't he? Oh, Franz, I'm so lonely.
But I love you, Sissy. Surely you know that. My whole life. You and the children.
And Austria and your mother. And the Habsburgs and the Empire and the army.
I am what I am. Nothing can change that. Not even you.
I must go to the children. I'll tell them we're visiting Hungary. They'll be so excited.
Baron Bach was right. You have charm.
Those dangerous Hungarians? I was joking.
What happened between Austria and Hungary in 1848 changed my whole life. I shall never forget it. I can't.
It is beautiful, though. And exciting. Don't you think it's beautiful?
Yes, it is.
I always knew I'd love Hungary, but I never thought I'd feel like this. It's like coming home. My baby. My little girl.
I have ordered my faithful and brave army to put an end to the hostile acts which have been committed by the state of Sardinia against my Italian provinces. I appreciate the full bearing of this measure. And if my duties as a monarch have ever weighed heavily upon me, it is assuredly now. But an armed enemy is on the frontier. An armed enemy who, in alliance with the Revolutionary Party, openly announces his intention of obtaining possession of the Austrian dependencies in Italy. To your sons, whom I have taken into my army, I, their commander, send my martial salute. You can look on them with pride. For thanks to them, the Austrian eagle will take a lofty sweep. For God and the Fatherland. My dearest angel, Sissy. All right, Mother. What should I worry about?
Prussia.
Prussia?
Think what would happen if Prussia were to control the whole of Germany. And Hungary.
Prussia might support the rebels in Hungary? For God's sake, Mother, you spent most of your life looking for storms.
Well, I must. One moment of weakness could destroy us all.
No, Mother, I must. After all, I am the Emperor. Mistake.
What?
Don't play games, Sissy. There's nothing to be gained from making things worse.
I don't know what you mean.
That headdress, or whatever it's called. Everybody knows it's Hungarian.
Surely I can wear what I choose.
My mother thinks you've deliberately humiliated her.
Let her think what she likes. Goodbye, Count Moyle.
Your Majesty.
I think perhaps you should apologize.
What for? I was surprised to see the number of people in the streets tonight, especially at the Opera House. They applauded your mother. They cheered me. If you follow your mother's advice, Franz, you'll lose the affection of those people.
Without her, the Empire would have crumbled. You mustn't let your feelings interfere.
My feelings aren't important. It's what she is that matters. What she represents.
Don't ignore her strengths, Sissy. We need that.
Her strength is based on fear. The fear she inspires in others and her own fear of change and progress. Fear can only destroy.
All right. I'll talk to her.
Talking isn't enough. You don't realize how dangerous she is.
What more can I do?
Besides, she won't listen. She never listens to anyone. Whatever she says is bound to be right.
She's been right in the past.
The past means nothing. It's dead. Let her die with it.
How can I? Be reasonable.
I don't care about reason. Not anymore. Why should I? I won't be smothered by the past. I won't let her destroy me.
To her old rival and neighbor, the Austro-Hungarian Empire, ruled over by the House of Habsburg. At the same time, these two powerful forces were allied to the imperious and autocratic Romanov dynasty in Russia. Emperor Franz Joseph of Austria,
by God's grace, Emperor of Austria and King of Jerusalem and Hungary, Franz Joseph. The Empress had always been a champion of Hungarian independence, and it became my job
stock market's falling, Your Majesty.
37 points this morning.
Why?
The Rothschilds are selling out.
For what reason?
We've telegraphed every capital. There are no wars, no revolutions, no major disasters. And yet the Rothschilds are selling in Austria and buying in Hungary.
But why, Tarver? The army bill was passed last night through the Budapest Parliament.
Only on a first reading, Your Majesty. The opposition threatened to fight it clause by clause. They refused to accept the German language requirement for army officers.
The German language is the language of command.
That indeed is the issue, Your Majesty. They would prefer an independent Hungarian army.
They have a Hungarian king.
Who is also, with respect, an Austrian emperor.
A Habsburg emperor.
Your Majesty.
The dual monarchy was their solution, not ours. Must we always compromise, Tarver?
Occasionally, Your Majesty. For the sake of appearances.
Well, what next?
Only rumors, Your Majesty.
Rumors.
They may be painful, Your Majesty.
Well, they usually are.
They concern your son.
Rudolph?
Karoli wants to make him King of Hungary.
But I am King of Hungary.
Instead of you, Your Majesty.
Is my son aware of this?
Karoli made a highly inflammatory speech in his parliament last week. I think he has Prince Rudolph's full support.
Hungary snatched from us by our son.
Worse. If the prince accepts the Hungarian crown, then I fear, in the passage of time, he may make concessions to Russia, so that in exchange, Hungary might expand into the Balkans, backed by Kaiser Wilhelm's military might.
This is treasonable conspiracy.
The only way I can explain the stock market. The papal nuncio's returned from Rome, Your Majesty, with greetings from His Holiness.
This afternoon, Tarver. I'll receive him this afternoon.
How are you this morning, Franz?
Well, as usual, my dear, bothered by everything. My Prime Minister keeps me at it. Oh, don't worry, Tarver. I rely on your judgments.
Franz.
What is this, Easy?
Rudolph is dead.
What?
Our son is dead.
Dead? He can't be dead. Well, this is one of your silly tricks, isn't it, Sissy?
Say it, Hoyos.
Your All Highest and Most Supreme Majesty, I have to report to you, in all grief, that His Royal Highness Prince Rudolph has departed this life.
Is the cause of death known, Your Majesty?
Poison. Count Hoyos, when the Emperor can bear it, tell him all you know.
Your Majesty.
Tarver, we shall need your assistance.
Sit. Sit, my dear Tarver. There is much to do. To work.
Your great love flows to the people, Your Majesty, as theirs to you. The news is already on the streets.
Died peacefully this morning of an apoplectic stroke. Thought we had agreed upon heart failure.
The Crown Prince had no history of heart trouble, Your Majesty. The police are ready to take over the premises of all other newspapers should they deviate from our official statements.
There are rumors, then?
Many. I have ordered that all telegrams from foreign embassies be decoded and then censored or suppressed.
Oh, quite right.
Our subjects must be protected. I have taken the initiative of informing by telegram all significant royal houses related to Your Majesty of Your Majesty's bereavement.
And His Holiness?
I have refrained from telegraphing His Holiness directly until we have received Professor Wiederhofer's report. There is still the question of the girl. Professor Wiederhofer, Your Majesty.
My most profound condolences, Your Majesty.
Thank you, Wiederhofer. Tell me, I want to know everything.
Professor Wiederhofer has been working all night, Your Majesty, preparing the body for the lying in state. Would you care to pay your respects?
Not now, Tarper, not now. My son was a general in the army, and I must visit him as such. Tell me, Professor, did my son die in agony?
I can assure your Majesty, he did not suffer for one moment. The bullet passed straight through the brain.
Bullet? What bullet?
The bullet with which he shot himself, Your Majesty.
Shot himself? Rudolph shot himself? What lies are you telling me? He was poisoned. Tarfer! Oh. Mad? He was not mad.
Your Majesty, that statement is what His Holiness will require in order to consent to a church burial.
He says he was not worthy to be my son.
His mind was troubled, Your Majesty.
Ah, yes. And the girl?
I have matters in hand, Your Majesty.
Dead? Shot by my son?
The world must be disabused of such a calumny. I'm sending her uncles, Count Stockau and Herr Baltazzi, to take her away as soon as it is dark. Except, of course, there is no question of a hearse. The Emperor received the news while he was preparing for the Jubilee to celebrate the first 50 years of his reign.
Nothing has been spared me in this world.
I am convinced that the new Turkish government plans to give a measure of independence to Bosnia and Herzegovina, and that they have already summoned Bosnian representatives to Constantinople to open discussions. You may feel that this has some bearing upon the date when you intend to make your next move.
Does it?
It amounts to this, Your Majesty. If our ambassador in Constantinople is correct, and I think he is, then unless we announce the annexation soon, we shan't be able to announce it at all without seeming to put the clock back.
It will upset the Kaiser.
Well, we must at least be sure of Russian support.
Do you think that Britain and France will agree to the opening of the Dardanelles?
That's Isvolsky's problem, not ours.
But we've agreed to support him.
Oh, we shall support him. If it ever comes to a conference.
I see. You think it won't?
I think it might not.
But then Russia will have given away something for nothing.
Oh, they'll still have our support for their half of the bargain. But of course, the opening of the Dardanelles doesn't depend on us alone. Britain and France must agree.
So Isvolsky's position hinges on his belief that they will agree?
Of course.
Is it yours?
No. But it's for Isvolsky to make his assessments and for me to make mine.
Well, I think we should have it clear. I think that you should see him again before we move.
He's at Carlsbad, I believe, with his wife. I'll telephone him and ask for a meeting.
Majesty, 4 o'clock. Thank you. Kettle.
Good morning, Your Majesty.
Good morning, Kettle.
Anything?
7. Breakfast with the gnädige Frau. Dr. Kanzel. Conrad von Herzendorf. Montenuovo, of course. Nothing.
Morning, Majesty.
Good morning, Felsenstein.
Majesty?
The Count Montenuovo at 11:15, Felsenstein.
Majesty?
We see the High Chamberlain at 11:30, Felsenstein.
Majesty.
Thank you, Felsenstein. Tired, my dear, and old. Old. And this cough.
My dear, what do you expect? You had pneumonia 3 months ago. Try and sleep a little longer in the mornings.
If I did not start work so early, I could not possibly enjoy our summer breakfast so much, could I? There's something in the air, a kind of restlessness, hysteria. I don't pretend to understand it. No moderation. They don't act moderately. What is even worse, they don't think moderately.
My dear?
Oh, my Katerina. What should I have done without you for the last 30 years, my dear?
31.
31?
It's the year that Wagner died. 1883. Silly little actress.
Gifted.
Oh, yes. Gifted. Very.
And pretty. Even the Empress thought so. That delightful Fräulein von Schratt. Now I'm even forbidden to attend the Bosnian autumn maneuvers. Doctor's orders.
Good heavens, to think that you should even consider traveling all the way to Bosnia.
Well, my nephew will take my place. He likes playing the emperor.
My dear, one day Franz Ferdinand will be emperor.
When God wills it, not before. He wants to change everything. Oh, it's very easy to change. Not so easy to improve. And I will not have the Constitution tampered with. I've no doubt that she'll enjoy the little outing to Bosnia. That serving wench, Sophie Chotek, she'll be able to preen herself at her husband's side.
Franz, the Duchess may have been a lady in waiting, but she was never...
Of all the crosses I have had to bear, that absurd morganatic marriage.
Of all the crosses?
A scullery maid, who will one day be the head of the House of Habsburg.
Of all the crosses? Franz, your wife murdered by anarchists. Your only son killed by his own hand. Your brother stood against the wall and shot in a Mexican prison. Oh, Franz.
Yes, you're perfectly right, as always.
I'm sorry. It's only that I have for so long admired your courage, your stoicism.
You mean that where my nephew is concerned, I don't behave correctly? Is that what you mean?
Well, he has waited 20 years. 25.
For me to die, true. Well, the Prince of Wales was a grey-haired old gentleman before Victoria had the decency, the kindness to... Everybody dies, why can't I? Clearly, I'm not old enough to die and too old to change. And the joke is, the Archduke is actually afraid to go.
Afraid?
Though I've no doubt that his house guest at Konopisht, the German Kaiser, will hear a different tale.
Franz Ferdinand afraid to go to Bastia.
Can't stand the heat, he says. Though I know better. We are at all times in mortal danger, and we must put our faith in the Almighty. Well, I told him he could please himself so naturally. Now he's chosen to go. 8 o'clock. I regret I must leave you, my angel.
Of course.
Have I your permission to call on you again tomorrow at 7?
You have, Majesty.
The heir to my throne, actually afraid to go to the provinces, imagines that some Servian revolutionary will throw a bomb at him. Or at the serving wench.
Which brings me to another delicate matter, Majesty.
Yes? Pardon, dear Count, but 8 minutes.
To be sure, Majesty. The protocol affecting the children, the imperial and royal children of the imperial and royal household residing at the Hofburg.
Yes.
As Majesty is aware, the protocol prescribes that on each occasion that one of the imperial and royal children passes through the courtyard and corridors,
yes,
that on each such occasion the guard shall present arms, salute, and sound drums. Also, that the imperial and royal flag shall be lowered.
Yes.
It has been suggested to me, Majesty.
Yes.
That as the imperial and royal children are rather numerous, may the good God bless their highnesses, and in some cases so young indeed that they still have to be moved in perambulating carriages.
Yes, Count.
That in view of the fact that they have this extreme youth, as it were, the regulations might be
yes,
modified a little, so that only those dukes and duchesses who have been declared of age need be saluted in this elaborate fashion.
Yes, continue.
One has Majesty's permission to modify the protocol?
One has not, Count. Such modifications could be interpreted as a slight against the dynasty. The regulation will remain precisely what it has always been, unchanged.
As Majesty commands.
And I must ask you, dear Count, not to bring this before us again. Oh, that reminds me. The Archduke Franz Ferdinand's request that upon his ascension to the throne, his morganatic wife should be entitled to be addressed as Imperial Highness is refused. Well, that is to say, it will await review at a later date. Is that all?
Oh, one last item, Majesty. The Ishal Imperial and Royal Theatre is holding a gala for the purpose of demonstrating the improved kinetophone.
The what?
Moving pictures, Majesty.
Moving pictures? Oh, another one of those mechanical monstrosities like the motor car, the telephone.
Your Majesty's attendance at this spectacle has been especially requested.
Requested by whom?
In view of His Imperial Majesty Kaiser Wilhelm's visit, it was thought...
Thought by Franz Ferdinand, no doubt. Yes. Well, why not the flea circus? Still, if you insist, Kaiser Wilhelm must not imagine that the Empire lags behind Germany in mechanical devices. He must be entertained. That is in addition to the hunting excesses provided by my nephew. Thank you for your courtesy in coming to see me, dear kind.
Majesty.
Count Konrad von Herzendorf. Majesty.
Good morning, Count. Thank you for your courtesy in coming to see me. Your memorandum. You paint, if I may say so, a somewhat bleak picture
Certain facts, Majesty.
of unrest in various areas. The Czechs, you say, are in an uproar against our policies in the Balkans. The Ruthenians complain of Polish repression. The Poles themselves are straining at the leash for greater independence. Acts of high treason in Trieste. Increasing Russian support for ever-growing nationalistic tendencies. Yes. You were about to say, Count?
Majesty, we are in the gravest danger of encirclement. Serbia, Romania, Montenegro are all hostile to the monarchy. In the pursuit of their aggressive aims, they are encouraged by the Russians and the French. Our only ally on the south, Italy, remains, alas, unreliable. And such support as one might hope to receive from Germany is cancelled out by customary British machinations.
And your advice, Count?
We must look to our defences, Majesty.
That also appears to be my foreign minister's view. But then clearly you consulted him before you sent me this.
Majesty?
Yes. You know, Count, we have occupied this unenviable position for over 60 years. We have faced worse than a little unrest here, a little intrigue there, much worse. Insurgency, revolution. Oh, you may rest assured we have not forgotten 1848. The monarchy survived then, it will survive now. The lesson has been learned.
Yes, Majesty.
What matters is this. The national aspirations of all my peoples must be satisfied without weakening central control. The monarchy.
As Chief of the Imperial General Staff, Majesty, my primary aim has always been to strengthen the monarchy.
We are glad to hear it.
And that is why, Majesty, I see the need for a demonstration of military energy, a new approach.
Energy? New approach? You are beginning to talk exactly like my nephew, Count. Then, as you are no doubt well aware, we favor the energy of patience.
Indeed, Majesty.
I see here, by the way, that my nephew has sought from you certain military information concerning our present military dispositions.
In preparation for the visit of His Imperial Majesty Kaiser Wilhelm, the Archduke thought...
Thought? Military deployments would not appear as yet within the Archduke's province, eh?
Yes, Majesty.
Enter. Thank you, Keter.
If Majesty wishes me to retire.
It is my experience that in his admirable zealousness, the Archduke occasionally occupies himself with matters well beyond the call of his duties.
Yes, Majesty.
What's that? Excellent play act as the Italian soldier, eh?
Did enjoy it.
Most entertaining, I thought, and enlightening.
I already prophesied a great future for the Kneffen when I was visiting New York.
Did you indeed?
Sophie would also enjoy the spectacle, I'm sure.
I'm sure her cold will be better in the morning.
No doubt, no doubt.
Diplomatic colds usually clear up overnight.
Your wife is a member of the family circle. That is a matter of principle. You will appreciate, however, that it is difficult to reconcile her presence with long-established protocol and functions of this nature. I'm tired. My best wishes.
All possible aid was given, Majesty. But it...
Both? Appalling.
Majesty.
You see, you cannot provoke the Almighty with impunity. A higher authority has restored order.
Order?
The order I failed so lamentably to maintain in my own household. How did the Archduke?
I'm informed like a soldier, Majesty.
Well, that was to be expected.
His last recorded words were addressed to the Duchess. Don't go, Soph. Stay alive for the children's sake. And then...
The maneuvers, they went well?
Yes, Majesty.
Enter.
Majesty, the Count Parr. His Imperial Highness the Archduke Karl. Would the Adjutant General wish to...
Majesty, I would be more than happy to take on the burden.
To speak at this time to the heir to our throne is clearly my privilege. Hello. Karl? Can you hear me? What? Yes, true. Quite true. We must not question the wisdom of God, Karl. What? It's useless. Tell him not to come to issue.
Majesty prefers Imperial Highness not to take the trouble of coming to issue.
It would upset Zita, her condition.
The journey, Imperial Highness, might inconvenience her Imperial Highness.
Ask after his health.
May I reassure His Majesty that His Imperial Highness's own health is... thank you. Of course, Imperial Highness.
And the little one.
And the Archduke Otto? Thank you, Imperial Highness. I shall, most certainly.
Request that he meet me in Vienna tomorrow.
Majesty trusts that Imperial Highness will be able to confer with His Majesty in Vienna tomorrow. Good.
God bless you, my boy. Count Parr.
Majesty.
We regret we shall have to change the day's arrangements. forget nothing, am I? At least of one thing I can be sure. On you, my boy, I can rely. It may have all been for the best. Well, that's one worry less.
For the monarchy, Majesty, it cannot simply be a question of turning the other cheek to this ultimate Serbian atrocity. If I may say so, Majesty, we should not even be solely concerned with punishing a cold-blooded political murder.
What then do you suggest, Count?
If I may be blunt, Majesty, the time has come for a practical demonstration of the prestige of a world power. A world power, moreover, which has been patient and compliant for so long that a certain impression of weakness, even impotence, becomes inescapable. We dare not yield yet again, Majesty. The monarchy demands. The people demand.
What do they demand, Count?
With profound respect, Majesty, preventive localized action against the Serbs has become unavoidable.
And how, with profound respect, Count, is Serbia's ally Russia likely to respond to your localized action?
Hasty reaction on the part of the Tsar, Majesty, must surely be cancelled out by Kaiser Wilhelm's overpowering support of the Austro-Hungarian cause. The Sarajevo assassination places us in a uniquely happy position to act.
Sometimes, Count, it is wiser to trust in the Almighty to restore justice and order.
I would respectfully hazard a guess, Majesty, that the Almighty's grand design would not be undermined by swift and unequivocal action on our part. A clear call to arms. A declaration of a state of emergency.
General mobilization against Serbia. Is that what you're asking? You clearly foresee all the consequences of your fervor, Count. I regret. We cannot say the same for ourselves. No. I won't do it. I cannot.
Our diplomatic note to Berlin. May I at least give instructions?
Yes. Very well. Our friend the Kaiser must remain informed. Thank you for the beautiful flowers, my dearest friend.
Come. Try and rest a little.
These are difficult times. I am now told, that is to say Conrad tells me, that Kaiser Wilhelm has given us a blank check.
How many hours did you sleep last night?
A blank check to make war on the Serbs, and if necessary, on Russia and France and England.
The whole world knows that you would never act unwisely or hastily.
If only, that is to say, if we could at least detach England from her French and Russian allies. We cannot fight the whole world alone.
Oh, you're not alone.
Oh, now, more than ever, my dear friend. You see, he didn't really want to go to Bosnia, to the maneuvers. Just wanted to preen himself by the side of that woman of his. It was she who made him go to Sarajevo. The worm in the apple.
Please, dearest.
Well, will be. It was my duty to prevent that marriage. My duty before the Almighty.
Now, you must not despair.
I see only the darkness. darkness ahead. Conrad, Berthold, they're all quite determined.
Must it really come to...
The midwife of history, my most able foreign minister once wrote, is violence.
You haven't answered me. Must it be?
Oh, my dear friend, I'm so tired. So tired. I suppose it must be.
In Austria, where the funeral of Franz Josef marked the end of an epoch, the new Emperor Karl appealed to the Germans to make peace before it was too late. His armies were beaten and his empire disintegrating.